Okay. I believe the channel is probably live. I didn't have it showing up here. There we go. Yes, the channel is live. Hello, everyone, and welcome to Adventure on So Many Levels. I'm Christiana Ellis. I am the but humble player in this evening session because we're down a couple of people, and so instead of playing Apocalypse Keys, we are playing The Quiet Year. I only hesitated there because I always sometimes want to call it A Quiet Year, but it is The Quiet Year is the name of the game. So our players tonight, David Archambault,
Hello.
Millie Cady,
Hello.
and Paul Weimer.
Insert rhyme here.
And I do believe that she is actually just a humble player, even though she's handling the cards. You know,
Well,
she, you know she's honest like that.
yes. So the game that we're playing tonight is a map drawing storytelling game, and it is cooperative. And so there's no game master or dungeon master in this one. So instead, we are just, gonna learn a little bit about a community and its history, and follow them through a year where they try to rebuild and prepare themselves for an upcoming threat. And
The Frost Shepherds.
that's right.
Yes.
Um, and then let's. And so I'm just preparing the cards right now. The way the cards work in this game is that we separate them by season, by suit, and then we'll go through each season of the year drawing cards to, to determine what happens on each turn, because each one is going to have various prompts, and it'll tell us what's going on. And so I'll read through the discussions here. So, in terms of introducing the tools, just about got them set up. Okay, and then the let's see what the what's the order? So hearts is spring,
Yep.
and then summer is
Diamond.
diamonds. Okay. Diamonds, and then clubs
Clubs.
is fall, and
Spades
winter.
is
All right.
winter.
Yes.
So I've got the cards prepared. So we introduce the tools per the game. The way this works is the default setting says for a long time we were at war with the jackals. Now finally we've driven them off, and we're left with this: a year of relative peace. One quiet year with which to build our community up and learn again how to work together. Come winter, the frost shepherds will arrive, and we might not survive the encounter. This is when the game will end. But we don't know about that yet. What we know is that right now, in this moment, there is an opportunity to build something. So we can use that default setting, or we can basically have our setting be anything we want. We've played this game before where we had an underground civilization that had been beset by adventurers from the surface world. We've also played the game on the Tuesday night group where we learned about the history of a secret civilization there. How do y'all feel about tonight? Anyone have ideas?
I'm okay with going mostly default. Yeah, just like you know the what the form of the jackals take could be something like you know uh mad, like kind of lycanthrope kind of things, or
Anthropomorphized, two-legged jackal, something
yeah,
like that.
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
How do you feel, Millie? This is your first time. So we've all played it several times.
Yeah, like there's part of me that's kind of like whatever the default is cool because this is the first time.
Mm-hmm.
But I did have a thought of maybe it's too early in the year, but definitely do like a horror Halloween themed one in October.
in the fall.
Yeah, in the fall, just like
Well,
because
I mean,
this this screams like that.
you know,
But
at some point, it's almost guaranteed that you're going to pull a card in fall, and if you find it to be
Mhm.
appropriate for Halloween,
All
you
right.
can flavor it that way.
Yeah, it is. It's September now. I feel like spooky season is fully
well,
Pumpkin spice is in stores.
unchained. You know, it is.
Yeah.
well, yeah, the I was out with COVID the day that pumpkin spice hit my store. So,
Oh,
like, okay, COVID sucks, but pumpkin spice day is a little bit scary at Starbucks.
Oh, I do not miss retail with regard to seasons.
I enjoy pumpkin spice, but it does feel a little bit strange the idea that it's like making an event out of
it's
it.
like everything, like
Yeah.
pumpkin spice, everything.
But you know that everyone makes their own choices with regard to their flavor profiles. So
Yep.
let's if then we're going to start without specifying any kind of other special thing about our setting, we can leave everything else vaguely defined, and a lot of it will kind of become, we will create it as we go, because that's the nature of this game. So what we have here on our Roll20 screen is a blank page. This is our map. And before we play, we're going to establish some of the landscape. As we play, we're going to update the map to reflect new discoveries, conflicts, and decisions. And the map will blend literal cartography with symbols. We don't write words on it, but common symbols are fine. And I really like the specific instruction here that it says we'll all take turns drawing on this map. You don't have to worry about drawing well. Every drawing is good enough. I like that as a philosophy there. So there is a turn summary that is part of the PDF. I believe it is at the end. And so the way that works is each time it is your turn, we're going to draw a card. So playing a card, you don't have like a hand. We're just going to draw what's the card from the deck that turn. And we will do what it says on it. Adjust the dice is if we start projects. We decide how difficult the project is, meaning how many turns it will take to complete, and the dice are what we use to track the how far along they are. I think we'll use the clocks from the Apocalypse Keys set to represent that, and then take an action, which will entail either discover something new, hold a discussion, or start a project. When you discover something new, you basically just declare that there is a new thing on our map that is represented by something that you will draw, and it will just represent a new thing that we've learned or created about our environment. Hold a discussion means that all of us will sort of take on sort of representative community voices. Like, we don't have to be specific characters. We can be if we want, but it's better to think of us as being representative of different factions or different groups of people within the community. And there's a specific structure for it. Meaning it's not just a freewheeling scene. We just each take turns making a relatively basic statement, and then that's it. And it is very specifically, it is not about resolving a question. There might start with a question, but the idea of doing the hold a discussion is not about saying we're going to come to a decision through consensus. It's about hearing from all the different voices. And then start a project is if you want to declare that the community is going to start working on something. And similar to the start a discussion, this is not a group decision. It is whoever's turn that is you choose that there's going to be a project. And as a group, we'll decide how long it would take to complete, but only the person whose turn it is decides what the project will be. And I think And then last but not least, you may notice on the screen here that I have put some little goat tokens towards the bottom there. If you ever feel like you weren't consulted or honored in a decision-making process, you can take a piece of contempt and place it in front of you, and or by whatever has just happened on the map. This is how we express disagreement or tension. Now, note, as players, if we feel that way as players, then let's just actually talk about it. The contempt tokens are if you feel like the voices of the community that you represent or have been representing are mad. That's what we'll use contempt
Yeah.
tokens
Yeah,
for.
that's what we
Okay.
did the last couple times.
That's like,
Yes.
yeah.
Yeah, and so and that's the intent. I'm just making that clear.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
So,
If the community decides that the old guy who keeps yelling at clouds needs to stop, he can take a contempt token and
yeah. I just realized you all may not be able to move the tokens, so let me make that available.
I was trying and failing. It
Yeah,
so it was a poll error, not a GM error.
No, that's okay. And then there can be more of these if we need. I just started with a few just have available. We can always make more of them if we feel like there's lots of contempt on the menu. Okay. Let me just get this up where I can monitor the chat over here. And so let me also, I can grab some clocks when we're ready to start projects. And so we basically talked about everything. With the last piece of it is just that the King of Spades in Winter is the end of the game. And we don't know when that will come because we've shuffled those cards. And so it might come right at the beginning of Winter, or it might come all the way at the end of Winter. We don't know when they're coming. But when we draw the King of Spades on someone's turn, that's when the Frost Shepherds will arrive and the game will immediately end. Although we might decide what we think might happen after that. But that's all speculation because the game will have been over at that point. So I think before we start the week of the week of play, we are also playing the Fleeting Year variety just to keep things moving along, which just represents there are fewer cards. Like we take out 5 cards for each suit before we start playing, to make things go a little faster. So what we need to do first, though, is establish a general landscape for our map. This begins with a brief discussion, taking 2 minutes about the general terrain and habitat. This can be as simple as someone saying, how about a community in a rocky desert? Once we agree, each of us introduces one detail about the local terrain and sketches it onto the map. The sketches should be rough and simple, leaving lots of blank space for additions during play. The community itself should be fairly large on the map, perhaps taking up 1/3 of the sheet. Usually the community has about 60 to 80 members. So, what do we think? What's our general terrain and habitat?
grassland.
Grassland works.
I have no objection to grassland, Millie.
Grassland sounds good to me.
So we're going in David's home terrain.
Sort of.
Well, you're the closest to grassland of all of us, except maybe me, but I'm still on the edge of it at best.
So, in that sense, then, each of us needs to introduce a detail about the local terrain and sketch it onto the map. Does anyone have one that's just leaping out of their digital pen?
A river on a seems
Go
like
ahead.
it
Sure.
would make sense.
Yeah, so go ahead and draw us a river.
Okay. Put me on blue, which is appropriate for a work.
All right. I am going. Oh, I see. You're making it a wide river on our map.
Yeah.
All right, cool. Okay, so I think I'm going to propose that our community has old city walls from when it was a bigger
Bigger
place.
thing.
So,
Okay.
we are, we were at war with the Jackals for a long time. Is the setup? So I'm gonna say that this used to be a bigger community, and perhaps it was even a city that was abandoned for a time, and we are kind of moving back into it. But I think that um, there are city walls that are in disrepair and much larger than our current community would merit by itself, because it's kind of was for a bigger um, a bigger place before. And so I'm gonna just draw. And so my thinking is that, like I said, these walls are in disrepair. They're not in good shape. They probably have many gaps and crumbled areas.
Okay. Ever since you said grassland, David, I keep thinking of like buffalo jump. So I'm going to propose a basically a cliff that in times past when the world was young, they drove hoofed animals
Mhm.
off the cliff in order to get food. So we're gonna have a little bit of some topography here. Yeah, let's do this as a little bit of little, making that look a little bit like an
Okay.
elevation map. So yeah, and there could be all sorts of things in that cliff. So that leaves
Okay.
lots of possibilities for story and things to discover inside the cliff itself.
Okay. Are we on the high side or the low side?
We're on the low side. That's the
Okay.
high side.
Right.
So
Right. Okay. Yeah.
things dropped off. Yeah.
Makes sense that the low side would be where the river would be.
Right.
Makes
Right.
right.
Exactly.
Yeah. Just clarifying. So how
I'm
about you,
gonna
Millie?
add a plus sign up here to show that it's higher up,
Gotcha.
Thank you.
but that's really tiny. And I think pretty big river used to be bigger. Um hmm, I'm thinking that there used perhaps we had something of a port, and I'm trying to get this to let me draw. Um
I mean, let me know if you're having trouble with the tools there.
there used to be a port, and there's a couple of like there are some like people who still use much smaller boats and such than there used to be, but there's some crumbled um
Here's
piers off to the side, whereas what actually gets used is like one solitary little pier closer to the city
All right.
walls. So the brown ones are the wrecks, and there might be something out that way no one's really looked in a while.
Mm-hmm. So just based on kind of what we've drawn so far, I just want to see if we're all on the same page as far as scale. It seems like it would be a relatively close-up map here.
yeah.
Like,
Yeah,
Yeah.
our underground game was pretty wide. This is
yeah.
pretty very tight.
Which
focused
is
game.
totally fine. I just want to make sure that that's kind of everybody's read of
Yeah.
it. It seems like
Mhm.
maybe we're talking about like 1 by 2 miles.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, great, great. So we don't need to put a specific number on it, but just it's good to have a group agreement there. Okay, so now that we've got our let me get to my okay. I'm trying to find the page that I was on here. Okay, so now that we've sketched some basic ideas for the terrain, next we're going to each name an important resource for the community, something that we might have in either abundance or scarcity. Don't draw it right away. And so when we choose a resource, that means it's an important resource if it wasn't already. So for example, if you pick gasoline, it becomes something that the community wants and needs. So like anything that we don't specifically identify as a resource doesn't mean we don't have it in normal amounts, but we're choosing things that are either going to be significant because we have lots of it or significant because we don't have enough. And then once we have each named one, we're going to choose one of them to be in abundance and the rest are going to be in scarcity. And then we draw because we have to know, are we drawing the abundance of something or the scarcity of it?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
All right. So who has a resource?
I mean, with the river, it kind of makes sense for fresh water.
Yeah.
So the water is potable.
Maybe.
Well, if it's fresh water, then I think you're.
Well, I mean,
so what?
Well, no.
well, water.
Oh, right, water.
Yeah.
Right, you're right. It might not be. Yeah, water.
Right. We
Fair-
might
fair point.
decide, for example, that it's scarce because the river is polluted, say. Like that
Yeah.
could
Yeah,
be something
fair,
we can
that's right.
decide, right? But yeah, water makes sense. So let me we don't need to write words on the map. I was just defeat that impulse there. Okay, so that's a good one. How about I'm trying to think of one that we didn't just do last time. I think I am going to say that a resource is information, and
Yeah.
that could be applicable to just like what's going on in the broader region, what's going on around here, but just in terms of information about the world around us, could be something that we either have in abundance or scarcity.
You want to go, Millie? If you have something.
I was thinking wood.
Mm-hmm.
Because while yes, we're in the grasslands, there could be there's still trees, and like particularly since we're near water,
Mm-hmm.
there could be some trees around, but
Yeah.
like wood or other types of basic fuel.
Not all trees are good for building. So
Right.
Yep.
Mhm.
Well, but also I'm thinking like what are we like? What do we use for cooking? Like,
Yeah.
are we using wood stoves or something else?
Or are we even burning dung, which
Yeah.
could be a possibility. Because I'm going to go with I'm a little bit of world building. Now I'm thinking not the American grasslands, but more South Africa. I'm going to propose that tic-tics are a resource. Tic-tics are these little herbivores, four-footed, hoofed creatures in South
Mhm.
Africa.
Mhm.
So we have tic-tics either in abundance or not around here.
Well, so I'm gonna push for elaboration just a little bit, because it's one thing for like a really specific like that. If we have it in abundance, that's very cool, but then kind of just an absence of. So
There-
like
there-
if it's
there-
an absence, it's really would probably be an absence of
yeah, I was trying-
all livestock, right? Or
Yeah, I was trying to go
Or-
something more specific than livestock. But
Oh, sure, no.
yeah.
I
Right.
think that's what
Well, yeah,
even if we
livestock.
say it's scarce, it could well be that that is something that we would, that used to be around here and isn't anymore, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay, great. So that is water, information, wood, and dictics. Um, so which of those do we want to have in abundance?
Hmm.
Hmm.
I've got a picture of a dictic for those on the stream. I mean, you could probably just
Yep.
Google them yourselves, but
But yes, aren't they adorable?
mm-hmm. So yeah. So what do we, what do we want to have be in abundance, knowing that that will make the other three in scarcity?
I'm almost tempted to say dictics.
Yeah, I mean that's
Well,
kind of. I think that's there. That's kind of fun.
Yeah, having the livestock be readily available, but
Everything else
Mhm.
is up for grabs.
yeah, so maybe in this case, the water,
Like there's
So
something, I
not right
think
the
causing
water.
the water to be
Mm-hmm.
fouled upstream.
yeah,
Yeah.
or
You know, you can get some to drink, but it takes extra work to.
Or there's something in the water that makes getting the water hazardous.
Or just like it's really serious that you do absolutely have to boil the river water
Yeah.
before you could ever drink it,
Yeah.
and that just
yeah,
requires
Yeah.
a whole sort of effort. That you can't just drink stuff from it.
and the
Yeah.
dictics might just have a stronger digestive
Constitution,
system
yes.
than us.
Yeah.
They also can get water from the grasses and whatnot. So.
Okay. And so I think a scarcity of information is fairly straightforward to understand how that might be here, which is just to say we are far away from any other sort of community group or society, and like where there used to be watchtowers, they're all kind of broken down, and we just really don't feel like none of us are from this region originally, maybe. We've tried to recover this area, but it's just there's still a lot of unknowns about everything going on. I am going to, as a here, I have a what I hope will be a fun way to reflect the lack of information is I'm going to make little map question marks, just like in a video game.
Yeah.
That works.
And I think that it maybe is just as an idea that like I put a bunch of them all over the place, and then maybe people can, when we discover something, we take
Remove
one of the
them.
the question marks away.
Mhm.
Boy, I tell you, sometimes Roll20's little thing where the little right-click menu um, doesn't isn't able to tell what part of the window it's in, and so frequently if you're at the top of the screen, the thing you want is just scrolled off the edge of the screen, and there's just nothing you can do. It would be nice if it was a little more context sensitive, but that's okay. I'm just making a bunch. I'm going to spread them out more later. But so everyone needs to figure out how to draw your either abundance or scarcity. You set
Alright.
yourself up, Paul, for having to
Yes,
draw a
I
dictate.
did, didn't I? Oh,
Yeah.
oh, why could I pick something simple? No,
Wow.
that could be difficult. All right. Wait. Oh, for double. Yeah. I can zoom in, can't I? Nice.
Here, let me move my question mark out of the way.
Better.
Well, if you've drawn one, you could probably copy and paste it, but it
I
won't.
probably could.
Well,
but,
it's
you know.
also you can have a couple of different versions of them. Those are cute little dick dicks.
I might love cartography, but I am the world's worst drawer. Go figure.
Every drawing is good enough. The rules told us so.
That's true. Okay,
Yeah.
okay. I need to stop thinking myself. Fine, fair enough. There we have a herd of lots and lots of dick pics.
And put kind of streaks of off color in the water to
Mm-hmm.
represent that's not necessarily good.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So, do you have thoughts about how to represent the lack of trees, Millie?
Hmm.
I mean, do we think that there used to be trees and they were just kind of all cut down, or do we think that maybe there was there maybe like a beetle infestation that killed them all, or
Yeah. Yeah. I'm thinking more sort of some sort of blight.
mm-hmm.
So let me
You could
think.
just draw like a dead tree.
Yeah, that was my thought. I'm just looking for a
Good color.
good color, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry.
It's all right. I'm gonna get some clocks. I think it suggests for the project it would only be up through 6, right? That would be the
Yeah.
Yeah, we've never had more than 6
yeah.
turns for projects.
Yeah, I believe it suggests using D6s.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah.
Trying to like copy these and
if you're not on the pointer tool,
yeah, I am on the pointer tool. And
it might not allow you to copy since
Oh,
you're
well, you have to I mean, what you can do, you have to select the whole thing.
yeah, it did. I
Uh-huh.
had the whole thing. And like I'm not either getting
Oh, it's when you're trying to it's trying to select a bigger.
yeah, like I've got the whole little thing selected so I can move around the one item,
Mm-hmm.
but I'm not getting a
it doesn't have right click menus for it.
yeah.
For players.
All right, well, move it further away from the river because it won't let me grab it because you have it so close to the river. Sorry, I'm
All right,
messing it
one
up.
second.
Okay. Where else do you want them?
Some over here as well.
Okay.
And those are all the dead trees.
All right.
All right.
Okay, so our community has a lack of information, a lack of usable wood, a lack of clean fresh water, and an abundance of dick dicks,
Okay.
who are probably primarily useful for meat. They don't seem big enough to be domesticated for labor animals. Or
No,
anything like
they
that.
are not. They are definitely not
Yeah.
labor animals.
All right. So that brings us to starting to take turns. I think, did it have an advice for like who should go first? Let's see. I don't remember if it I feel like it says offers a suggestion.
Clockwise. It says clockwise.
Well, okay, but who's first? That's what I was saying.
Oh, n
That sometimes it has like a rule that says the first person to go should be the last person who did X. But
no, it does not actually say who actually should be the first person.
Maybe we roll d6 on roll 20.
or I mean, I'm happy to go first and then we go clockwise, or however we. I mean, or who wants to go first?
I'll go first.
All right.
All right.
And then it'll be David, me, Paul, Millie, or at least that's how I've got it on my Zoom screen.
Yep.
Actually, on the stream, it is David, me, Millie, Paul from top to bottom. So let's do that. Actually, does that work?
Okay.
All right. So, David, the first card is the Ace of Hearts.
Ace of Hearts. Wow. What group has the highest status in the community? What must people do to gain inclusion in this group? Or are there distinct family units in this community? If so, what family structures are common? I think that there are distinct family units, and it's basically there were like a number of families that decided to come into this area to reclaim this area, and when the jackals attacked, they decided that every they had to protect the family lines, and
Okay.
like kind of like these were big families.
Okay. Sure.
Kind of extended families.
Okay, so the family structures that are common are lots of large extended families living together.
Yes.
Okay.
Almost like clans.
Yeah.
All right. Okay, so when you have answered the prompt for your card, we don't have any projects to adjust yet, so you need to take an action. Do you want to discover something new, hold a discussion, or start a project?
I think Oh, one point about the dik-diks. Are they just kind of all over wandering?
Yeah,
Okay.
They're abundant.
they're abundant. Yeah, they are.
Well,
I just drew them in the one
so
spot, but yes, they are
I'm
abundant.
going to say that they're make a discovery, and that there was one of the hunters that was going after a particularly large dik-dik decided that stumbled upon in a thicket of dead trees a living tree that seemed to be resistant to the blight that killed the rest.
Okay, cool.
Ooh, rare.
So you need to draw that on the map.
Yep.
Is this a deciduous tree, a coniferous tree, some other kind of tree?
Deciduous.
So we should leave it alone?
Oh, jeez.
And this especially large dik-dik was so big it was this almost the size of a pony.
Hey, there's the one green tree, one living tree.
All right. Okay. So, my turn next. So the next card is the 5 of Hearts. The prompt for that one: there is a disquieting legend about this place. What is it? Or alarming weather patterns destroy something. How and what? I think I'm going to go with a disquieting legend about this place. And I think that the legend is that it's haunted.
Ooh.
That there is uh, rumor that the city was abandoned because there were evil spirits in the vicinity, and that there is a subset of the population here that believes that purifying rituals are critical for us to be able to make a long-term go of it here, and that we need to be spending significant resources on those sorts of purification rituals, but that this is perhaps, I don't want to speak for the whole community, perhaps there are some members of the community that think that's a waste of time and that there's nothing supernatural about it. But I am going to have start a project that is to build a river temple that is meant to allow rituals to be performed there to purify the water. Whether it will or not, I'm not making a claim right now. What they're doing is building a temple. So how many? So this temple, I don't know that it would need to be terribly um,
So what do you think this temple's
complicated.
made out of?
I think that it would probably be made from uh, bricks made from the river mud.
Oh, so it's like kind of like the mosque in Mali sort of thing. Except maybe not that big.
I'm not sure I know that one, but yeah, I'm thinking just kind of adobe
Yeah,
bricks, but like made from the river water itself.
yeah. Okay.
So how many ticks do we think that needs to be?
uh, 4, maybe 3,
Yeah.
4, something like that.
Yeah.
Okay. So I'm going to start a 4-step clock for the temple. River temple. Oh, come on. There we go. Okay. So that's my turn. I guess I have to draw the card next, so it's not me waiting on anyone. The next card is the Queen of Hearts.
You're up, Millie.
Uh,
So Queen of Hearts.
So this is on page one of the last pages of the PDF. Page 12, I
12.
think, has the oracle for this.
Spring Queen. What is the most beautiful thing in this area, or what's the most hideous thing in this area? I think the most hideous thing would be there's a boneyard from like driving Dick off the cliff, and it like it looks kind of ghastly. So,
Nice. Yeah, so go ahead and draw that
yep.
on.
So
Oh, I should have ticked my clock one when. Oh, never mind. Yeah, so I am ticking it now as part of your turn. Oh.
there we go. And they seem to have been concentrated in this one section for some reason, like, and we forget why, but it just looks really bad, like
Mm-hmm.
creepy.
Mm-hmm. Spooky, haunted.
Spooky.
Hmm. the ghost
Defiled.
of Bigfoot.
Okay, and so the next step would be advanced clocks. The only one so far is my project, and so I moved that ahead one. So now you get to either discover something new, start a project, or hold a discussion.
Hmm. Let's see. I think um doing some exploration like right within the city itself.
Mm-hmm.
Um to see like maybe in kind of like the broken down part of the city if like old city if there's um like a library like or books or something like that
Mm-hmm.
um that are either complete or incomplete. um I think I want to take some time to try to find those, so that might actually be more of a project.
Yeah, if
Well,
you're not
Or
declaring
you could
something,
just discover it,
yeah,
discover that there is a library.
right. And then
Oh, okay.
and then separately there could be a project to like restore it or
salvage it.
yeah.
Okay, yeah, I was gonna say we discovered like not like a public library, but like a rich family, a previously rich family's personal library.
Mm-hmm.
So what the amount of usefulness may be a little wonky,
Mm-hmm.
but um, like someone like um, someone doing some like essentially trash diving in the area
Sure.
comes across like this hidden room with a lot of books. We just don't know what it is
Nice.
Yet.
yet.
So, like, are there any useful books in there? Well, someone's going to have to go read them and find out, I guess.
So
Yeah.
And can we read the books in this area even? We came here from elsewhere. Putting questions.
a book.
All right.
Ah, okay.
Whatever harm came from reading a book.
All right.
Maybe that's what brought the jackals.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, could be.
Yeah, we might get some people who like start arguing like over the what 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 why are there still like these things are evil because they're still around.
Mm-hmm.
They should have all disappeared by now. Ah.
All right. So, next turn, the card is the Jack of Hearts.
Jack of Hearts. You see a good omen. What is it? Or you see a bad omen. What is it? Okay. Now I'm thinking astronomical. One evening we noticed that, and now I've kind of unless you both all jump on me, we see that the two moons line of this world pass one behind the other, which is a hopeful and good sign for the future.
Mm-hmm.
Because it doesn't happen that often that the orbits of the two moons will be that one pass one has a transit of the other.
All right. And that our historically that is viewed as a good.
As a good omen.
All right. Cool. So go
So,
ahead and
there are two moons.
yeah.
So the closer one is smaller?
The closer one is smaller, yes.
Interesting.
That's fun. All right. So and I have reduced the River Temple clock.
Yeah, thank you.
All right. I see our moon's up there in the upper right corner. Fun. All right.
Sort of project. Well, we just found this library, so I'm going to propose a 2-month project to completely catalog and determine the usefulness of the information found in this private collection we found.
So I'm assuming that you mean 2 week if you mean 2 turns.
2 turns, yes, not
Yeah.
yes, 2 weeks, yes. Now it's weeks, not months, right?
Yeah.
2 weeks.
I have in the past. You can adjust this game to have each turn be longer, but since the point is that it's
Right.
all a year
Well, I was, I think,
total.
2 months. Yeah,
That's
right.
all right. So 2 turns though, as is
2 turns, yeah.
I think that makes sense. So I'll create a new. Does anyone else have feelings about should it be more or less than?
I like the week.
A week, not 2 weeks. You mean?
No, I mean I like the 2 week.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah,
like
I'm
week
like
instead of
I'm
month.
liking 2 weeks, but also with the option of like, or
Well-
is this just like high level categorizing and then like actually searching through the books and such
Yeah.
might be later.
Yeah, so it
right,
could
right.
be-
It's like a triage.
Yeah.
Basically,
Okay.
Library
can be-
inventory.
what can be read and what can't.
Right.
Or
And what
or
can't be
even just
read.
like a list of the titles without necessarily going through everything. Okay. So I've got a 2 week project to library inventory.
And samples down to 2 weeks. Excellent.
All right.
Hmm.
So, David, your next card is the 9 of Hearts.
9 of Hearts. A charismatic young girl convinces many to help her with an elaborate scheme. What is it? Who joins her endeavors? Start a project to reflect. Or a charismatic young girl tries to tempt many into sinful or dangerous activity. How does she do this? How does the community respond? I'm going to go with the first option.
Okay.
And it convinces many to help her. We have a tree that can be used, that has survived the blight. We can take it and grow from it. We can grow more trees. Let's grow more trees.
So I love that, but let's figure out what the timetable for that looks like.
would say-
right, because growing trees is a long-term thing, right?
Well, I mean, it could be that it's a quicker growing tree, and like it's not necessarily having full grown trees after
Mm-hmm.
once it's done, but having the start of a nursery.
Okay, sure. To build a
And-
nursery for the cultivation of trees, which is.
I'd say it'd be 6 weeks, even though it's just a nursery,
Mhm.
because it's basically you have to make sure
Yeah.
that you have enough.
Right. No, that
So-
that makes sense. But like real trees, obviously these could be magic trees for all we know. But like real trees, obviously you'd be talking about multiple years before you had even one that's going to
Oh
be
yeah, oh yeah.
of a sufficient size to be useful for anything. But creating a tree nursery sounds like a great idea.
Yeah.
So we've asked this question in the past, but it makes sense to me that if the card prompt calls for you to start a project, that does not count as your
Yeah.
action
Right,
for
yes.
your turn.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Right.
Yeah. It doesn't deprotagonize you for doing another project if you want to.
Hmm. Let's figure out who this charismatic young girl is too. Do we want to give her a name?
I think her first name is Kara, and she calls herself Fairleaf.
Kara, as in a face, Kara.
I don't know what you mean by that. Kara.
Oh, KR. That's the AR. Got it.
Yeah, I wasn't
I-
sure what reference you were making either.
Just the original derivation of Kara means face in Italian.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
All right. Okay, so I've ticked down the other two clocks by one each. So what's
And
your action?
Action for this turn, there's some people that are like, we need to know more about what is going on around here. And we have this tall cliff and so many ruined houses around here. Let's take some of the materials from the ruined houses and use it to build a tower up on the cliff.
Okay. Like a
Yeah.
watchtower sort of.
Yeah, watchtower.
Okay. Nice.
Nothing super complicated. Just
Mm-hmm.
structure a structure to lift people up off the ground and provide a
Sure.
little shelter for those who are up there.
All right. How many ticks do we think we need for a watchtower? I think my gut says 4, but I'm open
Yeah,
to other
4
Yeah, at
suggestions.
least 4 because we're taking stone from the city and transporting it to the cliff and up the cliff and setting it. That's going to take a little time.
Okay. And that's my turn.
Okay. So, it's my turn. So the next card is the 10 of Hearts. The 10 of Hearts is there is another community somewhere on the map. Where are they? What sets them apart from you? Or what belief or practice helps to unify your community? I think that our community is unified by a practice of regular big block party style community meals. Like, not, every day necessarily, but pretty frequently big sort of outdoor, everyone gets together, potluck, everyone's eating together sort of
Grill
thing.
that dick meat.
Yeah. And I think people, you know, to the extent that they're able, with no judgment about it, but people dress nice, and it's intended to be like, this is an occasion. It's, Sunday dinner, but it's the whole community.
It's like, once a season kind of thing.
I was thinking even more often than that, like maybe even once a week.
Okay.
Yeah. So,
For lack of a better day, Sunday. Yeah, Sunday dinner, as you said.
yeah. All right. So the river temple and the library inventory both complete. So I'm going to leave the sort of clock on for the next time we use one, but remove the titles, and we should draw on the map to reflect the completed the completed activity. So I'm going to draw the river temple with the mud bricks. It's made. Which way do we think is upstream? Seems like the northeast is
Yeah, I
upstream
think
and
so too.
flowing to
Okay.
the
I
southwest.
was thinking actually southwest, but
Okay.
where it goes, kind of like maybe where it narrows, it's a little bit of a fall or rapid
Okay.
kind of thing. And it,
Yeah, I think when you drew that, that's the way I took it because you have that narrowing down there, and
Mm-hmm.
that seems the logical way for the flow to go. Northwest to south, northeast to southwest. Okay, so I should be drawing books in this library. Let's see if we can do that.
All right.
also don't forget to tick down the other 2 clocks either.
Yes, I will in just a moment. You're right. Okay. All right.
Library is now full of books.
Yeah.
The book is full of books.
The
Yeah.
book is full of books.
All right. So I think to honor the completion of the temple, and because we haven't done one yet, I'm going to propose that we hold a discussion. And so the way that works is I can choose to open with a question or a statement. And starting from me and going clockwise, each person gets to weigh in once with a single statement of 1 to 2 sentences. If I choose to open with a question, then I get to have the last statement as well. If I open with a statement, then that's it. I get just the one. But to kind of reflect the completion of the temple and embody the folks who feel that stuff is needed, my my statement is I think that we need to start making weekly offerings to the river temple. And so, yeah, we go in order, and you can it can be whatever you want. You just reflect someone in the community.
Ellie?
Um, let's see. I'm going to let's see. I think there's um a I think it's going to be a guy who's like driving the offerings, like kind of trying to set himself up as kind of like the head priest, but um
You don't need to be representing one particular person. You can if you
okay.
want, but it's the intent is really focused more on the idea of factions. Like there are
Yeah.
some people in the community who think this. There are others who think this, and so on.
Yeah, I think there's one person who's like like trying to rise to the top of
Okay.
the um let's have the temple, let's do all these
Sure.
um let's do all these um
Rituals.
offerings and such and rituals and such, and other people who are like, well, do we really need someone regulating any of this? We can just bring bring our own, do our just okay, it's a location, we can just go and make an offering.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's other people who
Well,
like three factions.
don't get ahead of yourself though.
Yep.
What you are supposed to do is to make one statement reflecting one group of people.
Okay. There's one group of people pushing for like
So
the
just go ahead and say a statement from their
yeah.
perspective.
um we don't need this to be organized. Each family can do like go give a give an offering in whatever manner they want.
Yeah.
Yeah, great.
Sorry, I was making it more
No,
complicated than
that's
it
all right.
needed to be.
I specifically had us do one because we hadn't done one yet, and the mechanic for it is always a little bit like takes a little bit of practice.
Yep.
No worries.
We think, another group says, that the temple can be a focus for possibly reclaiming this poor, benighted river and bring it to potable, drinkable, usable water through the power of our, not only our prayer, but our hard work.
So the river is already foul. What good would giving offerings to it when there is the tree that has already shown as being resistant to the blights, it itself is a miracle. We should be focusing on that instead
Was
of the river.
is that Kara? Kara's fire?
Yes, yes, it is.
All right, great. And so that is holding a discussion. So when we choose to do that, that's how it works.
Okay.
I'm a little surprised that there was more general consensus on the idea that yes, there are miracles and hauntings and that sort of thing. I thought there might be more pushback on that, but
Kinda
I
keep it
established there are two
content
moons in this
token.
world, so yeah.
Picking at goats.
oh, so this is a contempt token for the people who think that the
It's all hogwash.
So
or
Think
no, that the tree is more important.
yeah, the tree is
Ah,
important.
And so it's like it's not that the hauntings or the spirits are hogwash. It's that the tree is the obvious miracle. The tree is what we should be worshiping.
Yes.
aha.
That's fun. Okay. So that's the end of my turn. So it's your turn, Millie. Your card is the King of Hearts.
Ooh.
King of
Ooh.
Hearts. A young boy starts digging in the ground and discovers something unexpected. What is it? Or an old man confesses to past crimes and atrocities. What has he done? Um, I'm going to say that an old man confessed to stealing like like his family had like a box of seeds or something like that that came from a different place,
Mm-hmm.
and they were trying to test to see if there's something that would work, and he got fed up with it and threw it in the water, and soon after that thing started getting sick.
Hmm.
So it could be coincidence, or he could have started the blight, but he's never said anything.
He made the spirits angry.
Yeah, he made the spirits angry somehow, but yeah, he made the spirits angry. They just don't know whether, like, were there a lot of people making spirits angry or just this one person?
Mhm.
But he confesses to throwing something in the water like when he was a rebellious teenager,
Mhm.
and problems started after that.
Okay. All right. So we're gonna tick down Tree Nursery and Watchtower.
And to represent that, I'm going to
not everything necessarily needs to go on the map, but if you have an idea for what to put on there, that's fine too.
yeah, it's just like a little sickly green mark up there to show that something got thrown into the water.
Okay. Just leaning over, petting my dog. Okay.
Hi, Rocket.
Hi, Rocket.
Okay.
So you need to choose if you're going to discover something new, start a project, or hold a discussion.
I am going to see. We've got tree nursery. We've got watchtower going on.
Mhm.
I'm going to start a project of basically a another little a much smaller faction.
Okay.
Let's bring the atheists in.
Okay.
And the atheists are going to try like go to the haunted graveyard, the boneyard
Mhm.
over here, to try to prove that there's nothing funky going on, kind of like doing the paranormal investigator type thing.
Mhm.
Um, and whether or not they find anything or have weird experiences completely up to the dice, as it were.
Mhm.
But I'm gonna make this actually like a a
Mhm.
6 week thing because they want to make
Okay.
sure like they're thorough. They're like the
Mhm.
budding scientists.
Okay. Uh. Okay.
Something strange.
What's the thing?
Oh,
Hey there, ghost. It's me, your boy.
yeah.
uh. Um. Debunk. Debones.
Yeah,
Debunk
and I think
the
it's like if this is a group that like kind of like if they can debunk this, then they're going to try to debunk something else, debunk something else, and be a general pain in the side to anyone who's like
Mhm.
actually believing in all that mumbo jumbo.
Okay.
You have to have your skeptics somewhere.
Sure. Sure. Okay. That makes it Paul's turn.
mm-hmm.
You've got the two of hearts.
Two of Hearts. There's a large body of water on the map. Where is it? What does it look like? Or there's a giant man-made structure on the map. Where is it? Why is it abandoned? Well, we already have a body of water on the map. I
Also,
don't.
maybe structure.
We also, yeah. So I was like, I'm going to duplicate something, but let's see. Why is it abandoned? Okay, so I think that in the exploration, especially in the people going around and looking and looking for the tree, they instead found the ruins of a large open pit mine in the ground about here. Why is it abandoned? Well, it's not quite sure what. No one's quite sure what they were digging for, but it's clearly a mine. Like
Hmm.
an open pit mine.
Mhm.
What they actually were digging out of there, it doesn't seem to be any ores or anything, but it's clearly man-made and clearly whoever was here before spent a lot of time mining something out of the ground here. So I will draw mine,
Nice.
or at least a series of
I was also just realizing that I think that I failed to take the 5 cards out of the spring season like I did for
oh,
the other seasons. So we have an extra long spring this year.
Okay.
okay. So there's our mine here.
All right.
Okay. The old mine. Okay. So, hold a discussion, make a discovery, or start a project. Okay, so we have a number of projects going on. So, uh, I'm in a discovery sort of mood. So also found it's not a large body of water, but over here we found a small but substantial enough to be on the map Oxbow Lake of the River from the old course of the river. Whether or not that water is actually any good, don't know, but we found there is another body of water here.
Okay.
long since cut off from the river channel as the river has meandered in classic geological fashion. Actually, I probably should make that a darker blue. Match. So there's the look. Okay.
All right.
So that is my turn.
Okay. Before we move on, what I'm going to propose an executive action here, whereupon, because I meant to take out those 5 cards and didn't, that means that there are 5 cards left in there. So, like, the amount of cards there should be, we should now have exhausted all of those. And so I propose we go ahead and take out the remaining spring cards and move on to
And get to
summer.
summer.
Like
Yeah.
originally planned.
Yeah, I'm cool with that.
All right. So that means that we're expecting the first card of summer for you, David. And sure enough, we've got the Jack of Diamonds.
Predators and bad omens are afoot. You are careless, and someone goes missing under ominous circumstances. Who? Or, predators and bad omens are afoot. What measures do you take to keep everyone safe and under surveillance? Do not reduce project dice this week. I'm going to say that you are careless and someone goes missing under ominous circumstances. And it's from the Boneyard expedition. The person who started it goes missing when there is missing, accompanied by the ghostly scream of a dick, of a dying dick.
Oh,
And
man.
all-
A whole
and all
short
that is-
story just fully formed in my brain.
Yep. And all that's left of him is just a torn sleeve from his shirt.
Uh-huh. Spooky. But because we didn't
Reduce.
choose to not reduce the clocks, they do reduce. And that also means that we are going to complete the watchtower.
Okay.
And then,
Have to draw the tower.
yeah.
Yep.
Instinct, my dear, tells me the answer lies in the tower.
If the tower had been finished before they went out there to debunk the bones, then someone could have been watching to see if there was
Yeah.
trouble coming.
Yep.
Yeah.
Do we want to remove that question mark? All right. So it is your action now, David.
Yes. So make a discovery, hold a discussion, or start a project. Huh. I think I'm going to make a discovery, and it's in the library, and they discover a oddly well preserved text that speaks of the magics and in this land, infused with
grimoire?
this land. Yeah, basically. And talks about how how the different types of magics are can be disrupted in different ways.
Now
Interesting.
here's the thing. Did we know that magic was a thing, or is that something of a lost art?
Huh. I like the idea that basically, where we came from, it was it was a, uh, you know, it was just something that people told tales of, but no one ever actually did. It's foolish, full of suspicion, and but here, not maybe not so much.
Like this book certainly seems like it's written like from the perspective of someone who definitely believes it's real.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I will put in a try and draw a grimoire. It's not kind of. Oh, yeah. I'll draw it so once
Okay.
keep move
Sure.
on.
All right. So next card is a 5 of diamonds, which a project finishes early. What led to its early completion? Or the weather is nice and people can feel the potential all around them. Start a new project. Well, I'm tempted. So here's the thing that's a little tricky in a way that's not a problem. It just means we need to resolve it.
Mhm.
Of let's say we say, oh, the debunking the Boneyard project finishes early, but it could be one of those things where like they're out there and they're like, we've literally run out of stuff to even try to investigate because there's so much nothing to this whole idea. But also, other people are going to say, might say that, they actually just aborted and finished it early because their
I have an
lead
idea.
researcher went missing.
If they, you know, they decide to, it finishes early because there is evidence that there is something going on.
Well, so the trick here is we want to make sure that we honor the original project,
Right.
which is we don't want to have finishing early count as not succeeding, right? Because there's other things that can happen that might make a project get eliminated without finishing it, right? So I
Okay.
think if it finishes early, we could potentially decide that like one way to go would be for it to, they discovered definitive proof. But I feel like I'm not sure I like that as an approach, because even if I think it's fun for us to have a world in which the supernatural exists, I feel like it would feel weird to have people who specifically set out to debunk it coming back with, no, here's definitive proof now. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I kind of like it being, they really do feel like it, we thought it might take this long, but
But
now
it
that we're
didn't.
out here, it just really, there's so much nothing to it. We're just sitting around like there's nothing else to investigate. Nothing is happening.
Okay.
Um but there's always the wrinkle, though, that someone did go missing, and although there might be an entirely natural reason for that, there might be something else, but they have run out of things to investigate. Um,
I
uh,
can, well, I kind of have an idea relating to that would could come into place later.
well,
But
so what I wanted, though,
I,
is because it was Millie's project, I didn't want to
yeah.
end.
I, I'm fine with them going, all right, we've been sitting out here, we did all the stuff we could think of, nothing's happened. Um, we're still not convinced
Mhm.
that basically I think that most of them are like, okay, we think we're right,
Mhm.
but one or two members of the group are like, but what happened to Bob?
Right. Well, and I think that it's entirely fair for the people on the project to come back saying, we did it. We have
We didn't fi-
proved to our satisfaction that there is nothing supernatural happening. But that doesn't necessarily mean everyone in the community agrees.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like they're going to say, well, nothing happened. We we couldn't make anything happen, whatever. And but there's like some of the community might be convinced, but most of them aren't going to be because, well, what happened to Bob?
Mm-hmm.
Yep. But
Like you if you can if you guys can't explain that, then how can you say that nothing happened?
Mm-hmm.
So some of the like some of the group that was already prone to thinking one way
Mm-hmm.
just proved it to themselves.
Yeah.
It's not like we haven't seen that all over the place. Um,
Well, and so I'm just like imagining them, it's kind of like, if you're doing one of those ghost hunter shows, but you're serious about it, and they're just like, there's no cold spots, there's no weird noises.
yeah.
It's just a house, guys. We thought we were going to stay longer because there might be more things to actually check, and there's just nothing. It's just a place where there's a bunch of old animal skeletons. Okay. So that was the prompt. Going to go ahead and reduce the other remaining project on there, the tree nursery, by one. And now that we've only got one project going, I'm going to start a new project now, which is, I think we want to reopen the mine to try to see if anything useful can come of it. Or you know what? I think actually no, I take it back. The new project is folks want to reinforce the walls.
Okay.
They want to get those walls back up to proper.
usable strength.
Yeah, and I feel like that's probably a big one. So I'm going to go ahead and volunteer it to be 6, unless anyone wants to
No, at the end.
suggest
six.
otherwise.
Rewalling an entire, 6 is
Mhm.
6 sounds right. I mean, it's even bigger than the watchtower, so yeah.
Mm-hmm. All right. So restore the walls, 6-part clock. Okay. Millie, your next card is the 6 of diamonds.
6 of diamonds. Outsiders arrive in the area. Why are they a threat? How are they vulnerable? Or outsiders arrive in the area. How many and how are they greeted? I'm going to say that it's like it's a group of explorers from like from the south, from the southwest. Normally anyone we've had contact with has been more northeast because the terrain gets really like mountainous down this way,
Okay.
so we're not used to seeing people come from the south. um and it's like a small exploratory force, maybe 15, 20 people total, because um and not it's like not a military force, so I'm going to say that like they're on their own little fact finding mission, and if they can, they've got some trade goods with them just to see if they can make any money. And um since they're coming from the southwest, they're probably going to come across the temple first. So,
Are they coming up the river directly, or
yeah,
are they following the river?
Yeah.
well,
Well,
they're coming, like they're following the river, but not in the water.
Okay.
well, and remember the scale of our map. I think you'd be able to see the city if you were at the temple.
Yeah, it's like they're basically they decide to like check out the
To go to
temple first,
first.
the separate building, to see if they can get some information about what's going on, because this is the first group like in their generation
Okay.
that's come up. Um and they're going to be greeted with like cautious enthusiasm,
Mhm.
um because we haven't seen anyone come like no one in the town in the community seen anyone come from the south in a long time.
Mhm.
So there's curiosity, but kind of a little bit of like, why are you here? I think that
All
will
right.
fit that. And in terms of actually, let's start a discussion like with like how should we approach these newcomers as a full community rather than just like the people who happen to be at the temple that day.
Okay. So we're completing the tree nursery just for reference while we're doing this.
Okay.
So you're starting the discussion with a question.
All right.
So no, I mean you just
Oh,
did that,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
Yeah.
How
Okay.
should we treat these newcomers?
So it would be
Um,
you first, Paul.
Oh, right. Thank you. We have to be very careful. They're coming from a direction where we don't find people. Generally, we've had some very strange events happen in and around here. The tree, what happened at the boneyard. There might be magic going on. We have to treat these people with maybe not with as open arms that others might want in this community. We've got to be careful having their ideas infect our community or cause us to turn away from what is really important here.
So Phoenix?
Yeah.
mhm.
Yeah.
Okay. I think we should find out whatever information we can about what is in that direction, and use it and see if maybe we can use it to help you know help solve the problem of the river being foul, and possibly even maybe find more sources of food.
I think we should tell them that they need to make a tribute to the river temple, and if they won't, then we'll know that they're not on our side.
Okay.
And then you finish, Millie, with a
Right.
statement of your own.
So I think it sounds like we're looking to test these outsiders to find out what their intentions are.
Well, so I have voiced a faction that thinks so.
Yeah. Well, also with Paul's group,
Well,
like
so bear in mind though, like remember that we're not trying to actually solve a problem or
Right.
decide on a decision that everything's going to move forward for. You just stick to the statement.
okay.
it's kind of designed to be a little bit frustrating because it's
Yeah.
meant to represent how the different factions do different things and don't always listen to each other. And so we are not collectively as a group of 4 deciding what should happen next.
yeah.
You're voicing
Um,
a subset of the population.
Okay, subset of the population. There's a um there's also so there's a group that um some of the population wants to like off like blah, 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 wants to like kick them out, don't let them in, like
Well, so again, I
okay,
worry
I'm
that
not
you're
just
overcomplicating this.
yeah.
The whole exercise is really just meant to be 4 brief statements, each of
Okay.
which is just a point of view from someone in the community.
Okay.
And yours does not have to respond to any other of the
Yeah.
others. Nothing is going to be decided here. It is just to
Okay.
say, well, you know, we had a couple of voices that said this. Now, another voice that says this, and then that's the end of it. You don't need to
Okay.
decide who it is or provide the background for why they feel that way. You just, yeah.
Okay. We don't need anything from outsiders. They can just continue right along.
Yeah.
Don't bother us.
Yeah, great. Okay. All right. So that was holding a discussion. So, Paul, your turn now.
Yep.
2 of diamonds.
2 of diamonds. Here we go again. Someone new arrives. Who? Why are they in distress? Or someone leaves the community. Who? What are they looking for? Okay. I'm going to go with the latter. Tobias has decided with the arrival of these people from downstream has decided that
Upstream, I thought we
Upstream.
decided. Yeah.
oh from upstream, right, from anyway, with the arrival of these new people, he is going to go see where they came from and find out on his own without bias or without what they're saying about what's going on from their community. He's going to go take a look for himself. He's going to go downstream and basically find out what's going on, because if outsiders are moving into our area, we need to know. Yes, this area is very new to us. There's lots of question marks on the map, but clearly the rest of the world is pressing in on us and we need to know more. So he's going to take a bunch of supplies and
Nice.
head along the river.
Okay.
Okay.
Bon
Start a
voyage,
project.
Tobias.
Yep. Good. Yeah, we'll see if he ever returns. Project. Project discussion. Let's see. We only got one real actual project, so let's start another project. So you were thinking of doing it, so I will jump on it. We might need more supplies than just carving out the cliff. Maybe there's something in that mine that could be useful. So we're going to start a prospecting project to find out what the material is in the mine. Do some more test mining and see what actually whoever was here once was actually digging for. Before we commit to a whole scale operation to mine, we were going to do some test bores and looking at the soil, trying to figure out what actually was in that mine. So it's kind of like almost like a scientific sort of expedition to investigate the mine and what it was actually digging in.
Okay.
So I feel like that's a long project.
Really? I was
3
thinking.
weeks?
Oh, okay. Well, I thought you were about to say you did think it would be long.
No,
Okay. Yeah, I agree. 3 sounds good to me.
that sound good to everybody else?
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay, so 3-week project to find out what the mine really holds. Dun,
Okay.
dun, dun.
And what that means is that if that project completes, you'll have to decide what the answer is.
I have several ideas in my brain. Well, we'll see if it actually completes because some of these cards, listeners and watchers, sometimes short circuit your project.
Oh yeah.
They call it a mine. A mine.
Mithril? I hadn't thought that.
All right. So that puts us back up to David. Your card is the 10 of diamonds.
10 of diamonds. You discover a cache of supplies or resources added into abundance. As scarcity has gone unaddressed for too long, start a project that will alleviate that scarcity. Well, I think uh, um, in looking through that grimoire about the magics of the area, someone discovered a ritual that could uh, speed the growth of plants.
Mmm.
Oh.
And they are going to do the ritual to uh, basically make the tree nursery grow very fast and very, very productively.
Nice.
Alright.
So I think, I mean, to make it very fast and very productive, I think it would be 2 week.
Yeah.
That kind of
Okay.
thing.
Sure.
Okay. And so that would make trees and wood not scarce, which could help alleviate the issue of water if boiling water is something we have to do regularly.
Mm-hmm. Well, the boiling water is from the water is a separate thing from the trees,
I know.
right?
I'm saying, like, if trees are no longer scarce,
Then it
Oh,
would
then
need
we have
water.
we have
It's-
fuel
it's-
to boil water.
Right. Well, we're not going to resolve two
I know.
scarcities by resolving one scarcity, but
Yeah.
yes, you're right though that we would have wood available for all sorts of things, which would alleviate a scarcity, which is good. Okay.
Okay.
So that is the prompt.
Yep. For
then
the action, I think that in the watchtower, one of the people notices a strange person wandering around the boneyard,
Mm.
and in investigating, finds that it is a figure that seems to that kind of wears Dick Bones as almost a ceremonial garb, and has a large skull of one on as a kind of headdress.
I was gonna say Dick Skulls would have to like wear it like as like a little Robin Hood hat because I don't know if it's as big as a person's head.
Well,
It could be a
large
big one. Oh, okay. All
Yeah.
right.
But yeah, it's like that, and then and starts, and when someone goes out to investigate, they the figure starts talking about spirits require honor, and then the honor, if we honor the spirits properly, this land will be cleansed. And he waves his arms around and knows that he seems to be missing the sleeve on his clothes.
Mm-hmm. All right. So that's discover something new.
Yes.
Or you want to draw this little guy,
Okay.
Mr. Bones.
Mr. Bones and me. I don't know the rest of the lyrics.
Never mind. I was going to go into another anecdote, but it's too long. It's not worth it. Okay, great. So while you're drawing that, I'll go ahead and do the next card. It's the Queen of Diamonds, which is a project finishes early. Which one or why? Or if there, well, I guess it's not even an or. It's just if there are no projects underway, but there are, and so a project finishes early. Let's see. I think Prospect the Mine finishes early.
Okay, so do you get to decide, or do I
No,
get to decide?
I think it was your project. I think it's fair for you to decide. But it just
Okay.
turns out it doesn't take very long to realize what it was.
No, there is some sort of quasi-ferrous like metal that they were digging for here.
Hmm.
It's not iron, but it's similar to iron in its properties. Let's call it, because I'm feeling in
Black
a
iron?
I'm in an Atlantean mood. Well, that would be a reference to a different thing. I'm gonna call it orichalco.
Okay.
Hmm.
So what are its iron? Is it magnetic or what's the?
It's hard and strong, and there are those who say that it has magical properties, but that's not proven yet.
Huh.
But
Huh.
it's clearly usable for tools and other things.
Okay.
But it's clearly not iron, and it's not on the periodic charts as we know it. So
All right.
what?
So I'm going to say that it finishes early because it turns out there's a lot there. Um, I'm going to actually suggest though too that
Mhm.
part of what's discovered is in the process here is that there's apparently a lot of this material there, but that it wasn't obvious before because it looks like someone deliberately tried to close off
Those shafts of
those
mine.
shafts
Mm.
to hide it.
I like that. Why? Dun, dun,
Hmm.
dun.
And there's no evidence of it in the town.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I like that too. It's like, yeah, we've never seen this before, and we've been looking through this town.
Yeah,
And
like this town has walls. We've been quarrying stone to make and reinforce these walls.
why not use the arch outcome?
Why has there never been any of this before?
Mm-hmm. Mm-mm-mm.
All right. I like your little your little modification of the mine
No,
drawing
it's
there.
cool. A little gold.
Yeah. Okay, cool. So that was the prompt. Um, we advanced
Fancy clocks.
the clocks, and I'm going to start another project as well. You know what? I take it back. I'm going to discover something new. I'm going to say that we discover that there is uh, there is a very small family group of the jackals living in the wilderness, like at the base of the cliff, like in hiding, and it seems to be just like four of them in a family group that are just keeping to themselves and but they're living out there,
Mm-hmm.
our old enemies.
Uh-huh. Trouble.
Oh. Uh, mhm.
Hmm. And so I think someone just on kind of a scouting mission just sort of spots them and uh, and hurries back to report in without engaging. Um, so there's no contact been made with them yet, but they're out there. All right, that's you know what? Let me here, I'll draw the card for Millie, but then I'm gonna draw a little bit more about the jackal. So the seven of diamonds is your card.
Introduce the mystery at the end of the edge of the map where an unintended situation becomes problematic and scary. How does it go awry? Hmm. Mm. I think we've got a few mysteries going on. So Um, so we haven't like no one's taken a look at the piers yet, and um like the old piers yet. So I think that um one of the piers, the middle one, suddenly collapses and no one knows why.
Hmm.
And some people have decided think that it's because like, oh wait, we haven't been given enough um we haven't been doing enough offerings.
Hmm.
Oh.
So they start a small group starts pressuring everyone to like, oh wait, we've been ignoring our duties. The um the the spirits are angry at us.
All right.
And for my action, I'm going to say that there's a group that decides to make a little community farm within the walls, thinking that if something were to happen, like, yeah, yes, we're building up the walls, but we need to make sure we have a food resource in case anyone did try to like like attack us or anything. And I think that's going to be a 4-part clock.
Okay. I'm actually gonna. So the plant growth ritual completes. So I'm just gonna replace that clock with the um, community farm,
Community garden, yep.
community garden.
Like it's not COVID, but a lot of people anymore. But
Mm-hmm.
the community, the everyone growing their own food is still a bit of a thing going on.
Mm-hmm. Okay. All right. So Paul,
Yeah. We got
fall, the queen
oh
of clubs.
Queen of Queen of oh, so we're out of summer.
Yeah.
We've
Oh,
we've jumped into autumn.
I wonder if I miscounted the cards somehow because I thought it was going to be an even number of like each of us going around twice, but
Mm,
that's fine. So it is what it is. Got
it
queen of
is what it is.
clubs.
Queen of clubs. Okay. Disease spreads through the community. Choose one. You spend the week quarantining
Oh
and
no.
treating the disease. Project Dice are not reduced this week. Nobody knows what to do about it. Add health and fertility as a scarcity. Um, I'm going to put on my real world life hat and say that our community, once this disease starts happening, decides to actually act in a rational fashion, and everybody's going to quarantine themselves and take care of themselves and try to get this disease under control. So everybody's under lockdown this week to try to let this disease not spread and get it done in the communities once and
Okay.
for all. So Project Dice are not reduced this week.
All right.
Mm.
So that's your prompt. We
That's my
don't
prompt.
reduce the clocks, but now it's your action.
Now it's my action.
Seems like a lot of the uh, start a project and make a discovery are kind of
Right. I mean, so I think there's going to be, yeah, so yeah, it's like, I think the only thing that really makes sense is have a discussion. I think this discussion happens at the end of the week after this disease has burned itself out
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
and people are recovered. I think the community is going to get together, pose a question: do we need to improve our health, the way we treat health and disease in this community? Because this was devastating. We took action, but do we need a call it a hospital?
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to pose that question: do we need a hospital in this community, an official real hospital?
I mean, if we had a place for those who got sick first to isolate and be treated properly with appropriate means, and I probably would not have spread across all of us. So I believe yes, we do.
Uh, this obviously happened because people have not been making their fair contributions to the River Temple. And this is why we do need someone paying attention to who does what. Because when we let everyone just do it on their own, we have people shirking and not contributing their fair share.
Uh, um, well, as shown by the recent pandemic, there's going to be some people like, um, we can't know that by putting everyone in a hospital that gets sick if that's not going to cause even more trouble. So we should keep it as we did it this time and just like everyone deal with it on their everyone deal with it on their own in their own families.
All right.
All right, that was fun.
Nice.
Don't you, Paul? Don't you make a
Yeah.
statement?
You,
Oh, I
you
was gonna
kind of
say,
started
okay.
with a question, so you make the last statement.
Well, I make a statement. I propose that we, as now the weather has started to turn colder, that we we consider taking some sort of measures, be it better offerings or we actually build actual facilities. We cannot remain as we are, especially as the weather is turning. And we're getting strangers from the community, from other communities. We've discovered those jackals. We need to take some sort of action.
All right.
That holds a big plot hole for somebody else.
Sure. Okay, David, you've got the two of clubs.
Somebody returns to the community. Who? Where were they? You find a body. Do people recognize who it is? What happened?
Ooh, you got possibilities, man.
Hmm. I think that Tobias returns,
Dun dun dun.
but he is very healthy, and he actually comes back with several different, uh, several different, basically supplies and the instructions on how to replicate them uh, normally with what we have.
I'm not sure I understand that replicate part.
Well, like basically, like, you know, he comes back with medicines, and it's like this is how we can make them ourselves. Basically, recipes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and and fine, and he tells that the communities upstream uh, are are actually relatively friendly. They're you know basically if you come without you know come without harm, they have they don't see any reason to respond with harm.
That's good to know.
Yeah.
All right.
And it might also be a case where the um where what just went through our community might have been helped by that if he came just a couple weeks earlier.
Yeah. Wow. So we advanced the clocks. We completed restoring the walls.
Ooh.
So I'm gonna um, draw some little. Oops, that's not what I wanted. Yeah, go ahead. You got your
work
project.
on that?
I'm working on that. While you you
I-
have to decide your thing.
Something I'd like to propose to the group is, how does the community handle their dead?
Mm.
Like, do we just bury them, or is there um, do we have crypts or anything like that?
I feel one thing we don't do is burn them because we have such a water related community. We have a river temple. I've never seen anything say anything about the word fire. So I don't think we cremate them. So maybe we entomb them?
Well, I mean, like,
Maybe?
I feel like grasslands would be perfect for burial.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Well, you're right. You're rather than using rock. I mean, I guess there are currents, but that'd be a more rocky region.
No, we have to make the sacrifice to the river spirits by burying them in the water. No, I think you would probably bury
Yeah,
them.
well,
That makes more
no,
sense.
some people might
Well,
think
I mean,
that.
it
That's the
could be
thing.
it could be that they with the river temple, they're like, offer a piece of them to the water. So like, you get like a lock of their hair, and
You do the thing where you put them in a little boat and then you set it on fire with an arrow.
Yeah.
uh,
The old Viking
given
thing.
how rare water or wood was before, probably wouldn't consider.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, don't have a lot of boats.
Okay.
Fair enough.
Well, so I'm going to start a project where the figure at the boneyard wants to build a temple to the spirits of death,
Uh-huh.
and goes around, and part of the construction is to request an offering of the departed,
Hmm.
but just but basically, I'd say a three part clock for that.
Okay.
And when asked about the construction, be like, it's going to be made out of bone, or at least the deep bone will be included in its construction.
Hmm.
So, I mean, I think to build a temple in 3 weeks suggests that more than one guy is working on it.
Yeah, I mean, and there's some of the people from the community have, like, we have
Mm-hmm.
there are different aspects of life or
Mm-hmm.
of the world. Why not have death and make
Sure.
make offerings to that?
Got to make the bone temple.
Yeah.
Seems obvious now that, I can't believe we never thought of it before.
Yeah, we have a water temple. We effectively have a tree temple. Why
Mhm.
not a
Mhm.
deaf temple?
More
All
temples.
right.
All
Uh,
the temples.
Okay, so we got a 3-part death temple clock. Okay, so my turn. The card is the 5 of clubs, which says, the parish arrives. Who are they? Why have they chosen your community and for what? Or a small gang of marauders is making its way through local terrain. How many are there? What weapons do they carry?
Mm,
I uh I think I'm more interested in marauders. Especially given that we've kind of established that we're even though we have only sort of just started having awareness even of this other community, we're mostly pretty isolated out here. and we're glad that we have recently restored our walls. However, we still have people going out and doing stuff outside the walls, and so they're at risk now because there is. I think it's not a huge deal, but it is, or like not a huge group, but it's like 8 to 10 people that seem like ex-soldiers, and they have swords and armor. Which it just reminds me of a small bit from one of my own books where just someone was observing. It's like it's one thing to think of a sword as an old-fashioned weapon until someone else has it and you don't.
Mm-hmm.
Which direction are they coming from?
I think that they are they're from they're spotted outside the mine, like that. So right now they haven't attacked yet, but they're in the area, making their way through local terrain, and we imagine they're maybe making camp somewhere nearby. They haven't attacked anyone yet, but we can't imagine that they're here for good reasons. So that is, you know what? I'm gonna draw a little bandit campfire.
I mean, if we're only like 80 to 100 people, 8 to 10 people with swords and weapons is a threat to
Oh,
our
for
community.
sure. Yeah, they
Yeah,
could
it's just-
absolutely. Yeah,
This is not to be dismissed lightly.
100%.
Yeah, particularly if that's also the kids and the old people and
Right. It's like how many people of fighting capacity do we actually have, and how are they trained? And well, that gives me an idea for my turn.
Yeah. So this is meant to just be a little campfire because, like, that was what was initially spotted, was a campfire, and then when someone got closer, they saw this group. Okay, so that's the prompt. Let's advance the 2 clocks that we've got. And then I think I'm going to start a project that is train local militia.
That was what I was kind of thinking.
likewise.
Yep.
I don't know why I decided that one wanted to be a big text, but whatever, I'll fix it. Okay. Train local militia. How long do we think that? Because obviously, like, the longer it takes, the better they are.
Yeah, that's kind of the
But it's
But we
also
also-
like, how much time do we have, though?
Before they actually come in.
Right. So
Yeah.
I think I'm going to propose a two-week training session with the understanding that this is almost less about giving people real combat skills as much as having plans in place for people to watch, having, doing some drills of like, who is it that's going to actually try to do something if they show up, and who's going to just hide, and setting
Who's
watches
gonna-
and stuff like that.
Who's going to help those who can't be in combat at all get to safety?
Yeah, sure. So that's the project started. So your turn,
Okay.
Millie. Your card is the 6 of clubs.
All right. Introduce a dark mystery among the members of the community, or conflict flares up among community members, and as a result, a project fails. Hmm. I think
You thinking?
yeah, yeah. Okay, a rumor starts floating around that someone is helping um the Jackal family,
Hmm.
but no one knows who it is.
Interesting.
So that's a dark mystery.
That'd be a dark mystery. Um, could flare up into conflict later, but is like there's a rumor that someone's in contact with that Jackal family and they're helping them, and
Hmm.
but no one will fess up to who it is.
Mm.
Right. Okay.
Um, and as a project, um, I think while some people are doing the train the militia,
Mm-hmm.
someone else decides, well, we need to make sure that the kids, like, because there's like a difference between, all right, the adults all know what they're doing and such, but like basically start kind of like a small little school where part of the day is like taught like um a more practical school, um um like a little bit of self-defense, or at least what to do when you're like if something bad happens for the kids, but
Okay.
also like a little bit of language or other skills. I try to like so that all the kids get the same
Basic
exposure.
information. Yeah.
Yeah, so the kids get all the same basic information even if they're from different families.
Okay.
So
Okay.
I
So, I mean, uh, is
so this is
this
going to a project.
sure? Sure. I guess where I'm
Yeah.
just was a little confused is it started like you were talking about it being sort of adjacent to the militia training as like a specific urgent case, or are you talking about no? What we want is a school.
I think more it's more of a school, but there's like definitely a gym class is more like self defense for, or like skills for little kids to run away, as opposed to
Okay.
um
Well, so I just mean they seem very different in time scale. Is all. Like
okay.
like a school is a longer term thing. It sounds
Yeah,
like.
yeah, this is definitely a longer term thing,
Okay.
but like full 6 part.
Okay.
um but like the because part of it's a finding where to put it,
Mm-hmm.
and then actually selling everyone the on the idea of it and getting all the kids together to do it.
Okay. All right. Paul,
All right. What do
you've
we got?
got the 9 of clubs.
Okay. Um, the community works constantly as a result. A project finishes early, or a group goes out to explore the map more thoroughly and finds something that had been previously overlooked. So we have a couple things that are almost done already. We
Yeah,
have,
the 3 of those are going to finish this turn
yeah,
anyway.
and we have two very long projects.
Well, one long one.
Oh, well, the train local. You're right. I
No,
don't see that.
community school is 6. All of the other 3 are 1 and are going to finish this
Oh,
turn.
okay, yeah, okay. You're right. So yeah, I don't know if the community school is going to be. Uh, seems a little. Yeah, I think that's going to take some time. So I'm going to go with what did we overlook? I know something we previously overlooked.
I mean, it could finish early because everyone decides the school seems like that they want to work on. But yeah, it's totally cool to
Right.
pick the other option also.
Yeah.
Something related to the orchichalcum?
So yes, as a matter of fact, yes. So in a group went scouting here to see if the group was gonna the bandits were gonna cross the river, and they found basically a burial mound, and well, kind of eroded from the soil. They found a shiny sort of orichalcum. So they found grave goods in a burial mound with orichalcum in them right here. So I'm gonna have to draw a burial mound.
Hmm.
So we've found something interesting with orichalcum, but let's draw this here. Let's see. Why keep going with the wrong color? Should I go with a different color? Let's go with this.
So we've got finishing militia, the training militia. So I'll draw that. We've got Death Temple finished, and we've got Community Garden finished. So, the folks who made those, make sure you draw something for them.
How do I delete these question marks?
Just click it with the arrow and then hit delete.
If you haven't made it, it won't let you delete them.
Okay, I will move it then. It's
Okay.
okay.
Okay. So we have a burial mound by the way. Dun, dun, dun.
The community garden now has stuff in it.
Yay! We're eating more than just meat. Hurrah! We're ready for these baddies.
All right. These are my two little militia guys.
Okay. So yeah, so that's me. So
All right.
we're along.
Okay. So the did you what? I'm sorry. What was your? You found the burial mound as part of the
Right.
prompt, and then your what was?
Oh,
I was distracted by drawing.
oh, you're right.
Did you do
You're
your
right. Oh, you're right. I didn't actually have my actual thing. Right. Prompt. The project is going to be to excavate the mound.
Okay.
We're going to we'll make that a 3-week project to excavate the mound and get anything good out of it.
Okay. I'm gonna say 3-week project of grave robbing.
Yep, grave robbing.
I suppose in context with grave robbing, tomb raiding sounds slightly less aggressive.
Yeah.
Yeah, two rating might be a little
Mm-hmm.
softer.
I feel like cultural connotation, like grave robbing, feels a little bit more like there might be alive people today who would care about that specific grave, as opposed to tomb raiding, which suggests a more ancient sort of thing. But anyway,
Anyways,
that makes it David's turn.
Okay.
8.
See my death temple on
Great.
there.
Great. And then 8 is the
Ooh.
ooh,
Oh.
Someone sabotages a project and the project fails as a result. Who did this and why? Or someone is caught trying to sabotage the efforts of the community. How does the community respond? Did the school?
Oh,
Yeah,
you're right. It
school
should have.
should have ticked down.
Yeah, you're right.
Okay. Let's see. Someone sabotages a project and the project fails. Who did this one? Or, man, this is This is a big one.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, this is a meaty one for you.
Given the projects that are here.
Yeah.
I mean, I have an idea if you're struggling, but obviously it's up to you.
What were you thinking?
Well, it occurred to me that the Mr. Bones at the Death Temple might not love the idea of grave robbing the burial mound.
Hmm.
Yeah,
Yeah.
occurs to me
Yeah,
too.
yeah. I actually, it's not that he doesn't like the grave them doing the grave robbing. It's that you know they are not they are not respecting death by making the offerings of the bone of any bones they find to the temple. So he sabotages their project.
Mm-hmm. So does he succeed in sabotaging it so it fails, or does he get caught trying to sabotage it?
Uh, I think that I I think that he gets caught trying to sabotage it, and the community response, I think, is like it when the community response, it starts out seeming like it's going to be really bad for him until he points out that if there was something, uh, you know, the River Temple want uh, you know has is told that those with the River Temple require their offerings,
Mm-hmm.
and with the the burial mound, these aren't even connected to any people that we know,
Nice.
and then it's kind of left uncertain as to what's going to happen. And I
Okay.
think for that actually we should have a can have a discussion for this turn.
Okay.
Okay,
Well, let me
And
also advance the two.
yeah,
Lux.
And so, because they got caught, it is not the grave
it
robbing
doesn't
doesn't
fail.
fail. It's all right.
Continue.
All right. So begin the discussion then.
I believe that the bones that they find in the temple are the rightful property of the Temple of Death.
Uh, you know, those of us over at the River Temple don't try to say that we own the river. It seems like this is a status play rather than something really helpful for the community.
Is it?
Um. Like, as long as all he wants is the bones and not like the rest of the stuff we find, why is he should have said something beforehand, but ultimately it's not going to harm anyone by giving him the bones.
Hmm.
These are not our people. We have come into this land. Do we have the right? We have the need for the materials in this mound to protect ourselves and to learn more about the. Well, do the bones belong to the Death Temple because these are not our people? Or that would be taking ownership of not only the grave goods but of the bones and the souls of those people. Do we have the right to do that? I mean, there are those here who say that we should be digging at all. That we already doing that is a done deal, but to take those bones out and to give them to another temple feels wrong to me somehow.
All right.
Yes, discussion, and yeah, gonna go ahead and do the little goat to the temple.
All right. Okay, the next card is the 10 of clubs. Uh,
Oh, it's a good one.
Yeah,
maybe.
harvest is here and plentiful, add an abundance, or cold autumn winds drive out your enemies, remove a threatening force from the map and the
Both those are-
area.
Both those are good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Gosh, I'm tempted to say that the plant growth ritual is just like out of control and we've just got tons of wood now. But I actually, yeah, you know what? That is what I'm going to say. That is what happens. I think that ritual has just worked so much better than we expected that we feel like we can actually be harvesting this wood now, and that we've got it as a it's spreading. And oh, what if we cast it for the nursery so that the new trees we're planting at the nursery would grow faster. But what if our scouts start reporting new growth on some of the old dead trees?
Ooh.
Ooh,
I like that.
I like that.
Nice. All right, cool.
Yes.
Uh,
Blessing of nature be upon us.
yeah. So that's the
Would it- I was about to say, would it also affect the garden, the community, the farm?
yeah, probably. I mean, specifically
It was cast for the trees.
abundance is for the trees.
Yeah.
But I would imagine that it doesn't hurt
Yeah.
doesn't hurt the others. Yeah, so I'm gonna start. All right. But because the marauders are still around, I'm gonna. Oh, I did tick down the clocks, right? I think I just did that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm going to propose that although we did some initial militia training, it's just a fact that without more extensive training, they're going to walk all over us if they can get inside the walls. And so I propose a project that we send some people to the community to the southwest to hire between 6 and 10 warriors of some variety, between 6 and 8 maybe, somewhere in that range, perhaps skilled warriors of some stripe. The 7 is a good number.
So seven is a magnificent
Yeah,
number.
yeah, and but to help us defend our town from from marauders. So, so let's see. Let's hire mercenaries. So how long do we think that needs to take? I feel like we can't make it too trivial. I mean, we had several weeks go by of someone just going up to visit, much less trying to
Right.
hire people to come back and fight for us. So maybe 5? What do you
5
think?
weeks. Yeah, because they got to
Yeah.
get that. They got to get there. They got to sell it, and then they got to bring back
Yeah.
the horses.
Mm-hmm. All right. Okay.
Okay.
So Millie, Ace of clubs.
Please. The community becomes obsessed with a single project. Which one, why, and then choose one. They decide to take more time to ensure that it's perfect and add 3 weeks to that project die, or they drop everything else to work on it and all other projects fail.
Ooh.
Mm.
I'm gonna say that perhaps with the grave robbing one,
Mm-hmm.
someone like it's like we're finding more than we thought we were going to find, so we really need to like scour this and make sure we don't miss anything. So add three
Okay.
ticks to that clock.
All right.
Whether or not they actually find anything else,
So
basic
I'm going to add 2 because otherwise we would be adding 3 and then ticking it down 1. So
Right.
I'm just
Okay,
adding 2
yeah, that makes
instead.
sense.
But then going to go ahead and tick down the others.
And let's see.
My dog is thinking it's close to bedtime. He's just, over
Yep.
on the couch just going,
Aw,
Oh,
poor
Rocket.
Rocket.
Sweet boy.
he'll be fine.
All right. Yep, of course, but
Yeah.
still poor Rocket. It's
Mhm.
even if he's happy, it's poor Rocket. Um. Alrighty. Discussion, project, or discover something new. So, um, some of the people in the little militia group decide that they're going to go on a team building exercise.
Oh, wow.
And so they're going to like take the week to do a like go camp out in the wilderness, and they find down here tracks of a much larger animal
Ooh.
than the dik-diks that we're used to seeing.
Uh-huh.
And not quite and they look like a well, they look like a really, really big cat, but they're not sure what they are.
Mhm.
Oh.
Interesting.
Um,
Okay. Big paw prints. Okay. Paul,
Yeah.
we're in a new season.
Oh boy.
Oh,
3
boy.
of spades.
Okay, we're in winter. Easy shade of it. Someone comes up with an ingenious solution to a big problem. As a result, a project finishes early. What was their idea? Or someone comes up with a plan to ensure safety and comfort during the coldest months. Start a project related to this. Let's see. We have hire mercenaries, which I don't think that's going to work. That's grave robbing. I feel like looking back and forth doesn't really make sense there. But what someone comes up with a solution to finish the school. They're going to put the efforts they put into getting the stone from the walls to basically finish the construction. And now that we have some trained people and we're going to get these mercenaries, we really concentrate and hunker down and finish the school and finish the curriculum to get these kids ready for this winter that is now here. Winter is here, so we need to get these kids ready. So we're going to finish the project with this application of effort and lessons learned from building the walls and
Okay.
training people. So that is what finishes early.
So
Okay.
it's time to draw the school.
Okay.
I actually had an
Um,
idea of what could be used for the hire the mercenaries. Like, you have weapons made of what?
Mm-hmm.
Well, sure.
You go.
That would have worked.
It could have worked, but that's
Could've
not
worked.
what
But,
was
yeah.
picked.
Finishing school's good too.
Finishing the school.
Also,
right.
it gets the kids like doing something during the winter, so they're not so bored.
Mhm.
Yes, so we avoid that potential issue.
All right. So that was the prompt. I've ticked the clocks.
And now now we get so I'm going to hold a discussion on, now that winter's here, do we want to start using this abundance of wood to warm ourselves better by creating communal heated buildings that basically saunas. Let's create. Should we spend some of this, all this wood we have, to create a sauna? That's the question.
I feel like that started off extremely practical and then finished less practical.
Well, I'd
Yes.
be like, so you post it, so I'm first.
Yeah,
Oh, this is discussion. I thought you were
This is discussion.
Okay, great.
yeah. This is discussion.
All right.
We don't do enough discussions in these things, so I want to talk about things rather than just doing things.
Well, nature's bounty is given to be used, and so long as we replace what is removed, its use is good. So, and I have heard that saunas can be very good for the health.
I like all of the parts of that except for the sauna part because I'm less worried about getting a good sweat in and more worried about not freezing to death.
So no running out into snow afterwards. Got it.
We're
I
not doing the-
propose we instead have it collected as like community like stocks of firewood.
The Slavic loving part of me is like, yeah, saunas are an awesome thing, but um instead of having like random community piles, each family should get an appropriate size amount of firewood for their families. And then the families can also defend it in case anyone tries to take it.
Agreed. We should harvest carefully, but not, and sustainably, and make sure that we can help get through what's going to be a cold winter by making this happen for all families and everybody in this community. Well,
Alright.
that might be somebody else's project, great or not.
Yeah.
Mhm.
All right. So, David, your card is the 7 of spades.
7.
Well, that's appropriate given my problems.
What is winter like in this area? How do community members react to the weather? Let's see. Got Mount. I say that the winters are very cold, and the very cold, but it's not an example of extreme cold because the river tends to, help even out temperature extremes. So, like, basically, it's a lot more likely to be below freezing for an extended time, but it's not going to go from, just below freezing to negative massive number.
Okay.
And the community is like, especially with available wood, people tend to just hunker down during the nights, and sometimes the kids actually have fun with the snow that comes.
Nice. Okay. So I've ticked down grave robbing, which has only got 1 left. Hire mercenaries has got 2 left.
Now, do an action. I think discovery they have is um discovery is that uh some of the scouts that have been watching the Jackal family see that they have a they actually have themselves some objects made out of orchidchalcum, and they seem to worship it.
Mm.
Ooh. Dun dun dun.
Mm-hmm. All right, we'll draw something appropriate for that. And I'm just looking at the established parameters of the setting and the time of year that it is and the projects we've got remaining, and it's kind of a ticking clock, right?
Oh yes.
Because it's a question of, before the frost shepherds come in the depth of winter, will we have mercenaries and fancy orichalcum weapons, or will we not have those?
Mm-hmm. Dun-dun-dun.
All right, so 6 of spades, which means that we at least don't have the frost shepherds here yet. But the time has come to consolidate your efforts and your borders. Projects located outside the settlement fail, and all remaining projects are reduced by 2 this week. Or someone finds a curious opportunity on the edge of the map, start a project related to this discovery.
Whoa.
Gosh, I feel like both of our projects are outside the settlement.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna choose that. That would be pretty dire. But someone finds a curious opportunity on the edge of the map, start a project related to this discovery. What?
Actually, just had an idea.
Oh well,
But
I think I've got one, um, I think that I'm reconsidering the one idea I already had. Sure. What, you had one just ready in the chamber? What?
there's that strange prince of the cat,
Mm-hmm.
and maybe they discover the den, and perhaps it's something that could possibly be tamed for for use in uh you know
It's an idea.
defense or offense.
Yeah, I feel like
More
I
kitties.
although I love that in concept, I feel like
Yeah.
I would, if we had more time, I would be maybe more inclined to go that way. I think instead I want to go for another one of these question marks that we've got on here though, and I want to say that what we discover um on the no, I hate to shoot down your own idea when I don't have one yet, but I think start a project related to the discovery. We could have it just all lean into the whole Game of Thrones of it all, and the big print is dragon tracks.
Mm.
Sure, why not? I don't have a better idea. Okay, and so the project is going to be dragon taming question mark. But I mean, that's not going to be an easy thing, right? I mean, we have to respect the
As a
fiction
community,
here.
Well,
remember, as a community, we do not know the frost shepherds are coming.
Right. We don't know that. We just know it's the
Rocket, come on.
rocket.
Somebody outside.
Someone's
Walking
just
by.
making noise in the hallway. It's just Rocket, come. All right.
yeah, we don't know that the frost shepherds are.
I don't
coming,
care. I don't
so-
care. I don't care. We're towards the end of the game. I'm leaning into the Game of Thrones of it, not out. You guys
Okay.
can do different on your turn.
Okay.
So this 6-step clock though, I think is I'm gonna say 4,
Four,
Yeah.
4 weeks. So
which
good,
is
good winter project.
tricky. It's a. That's so drawing my my dragon on there. So that's the prompt. And so we tick the clocks, which means we finish grave robbing. Like you guys don't have to lean into Game of Thrones with me, but
Oh no, no.
I introduced magical metal into the
Yeah.
game. You know.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay, so and then I think I'm going to I think that
Bless you.
Oh.
um uh I think we have some just some poor soul is just trying to do practical ordinary things and wants to start a project to repair the broken dock.
Okay.
The ice that builds up along the edge of the river is both a help and a hindrance.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
All right.
All right. 5 of spades.
All right. Winter elements destroy a food source if this was your only food source at a scarcity. And winter elements leave everyone cold, tired, and miserable. Project dice are not reduced this week. I'm going to say that a huge storm blew through and destroyed what was remaining in the farm, but we still have like we still have the Dick-Dicks and we've got infrastructure that we could start it again.
Did we invent pickling is a good question. No, we didn't have any projects, so we don't have any pickled vegetables, which is not very Slavic of us not to have pickled vegetables. But
but yeah, so that it's like we could start it back up again, say in the spring, but and learn from our mistakes and build it better next time.
Yeah.
But for the rest of the winter, it's like what we had left and animals.
All right, so I've advanced the clocks, which includes completion of hire mercenaries.
Hey.
Yay!
All right, so we have mercenaries and Orichalcum goods. Wow, we're ready.
All right, and for my action, how about winter is a reflective time, so what's something that we can do better next year?
A discussion?
Yep, discussion.
So who goes first? Me?
You.
Yep.
Yeah, okay. Next year I think we need to work on the scarcity of water. We have this river bias. We have the temple, but the river is still not providing what it could. I think we need to work when the spring, when the snows have melted, work towards seeing if we can make the river pure and clean again so that we can drink it and use it and travel on it, because it is a shame that we have such a resource out here that is tainted and unusable to us right on our doorstep. That's what we should do this spring.
Well, definitely, working on the river is a good idea, and also keeping a better eye on our surroundings. We still have those jackals nearby, and we don't want them to become a threat any more of a threat than they are.
I foretell that the river will freeze in the winter, but when it comes spring again, it will thaw pure. I have foreseen it.
And we should focus our efforts on stabilizing our food sources. Because we just suffered this major loss because we didn't prepare properly.
Mm-hmm.
All right, next.
All right. So that's it, right?
Yep, that was it.
All right, David, 4 of spades.
Wait, it
No,
was
I go
my
next.
turn.
Oh, sorry. I thought. Sorry about that. Go ahead.
So
I
get
I
first.
thought we would.
Yeah.
Okay, all right.
Wait.
I thought that it was just. I thought didn't we just do Paul's turn?
Wait,
No,
did we-
it was Millie started to.
It was my turn, but we were having a discussion.
Okay.
So now it's Paul's turn. That's what
Okay.
I said.
Okay.
That's it.
Okay. All right. I got.
Yep.
I lost track. So give me a break. Okay.
No problem.
All right. Paul,
4 spades.
4 of spades.
All the animals and young children are crying and won't stop. Hold a discussion about this in addition to your regular action for this week, or a great atrocity is revealed. What is it? Who uncovers it? Oh, I feel like we just did a discussion. I don't want to do another discussion right on top of that. A great atrocity is revealed. What is it? Who uncovers it? We, um, maybe this is a yellow card. We find that 3 children. Oh, I'll rewind this back. If this is if this is a yellow or red card, we find that 3 children are dead outside the community.
I would like to veto dead
Okay.
kids.
Root back up. Okay. Great atrocity is revealed. Who's that?
I mean, it could be dead people.
Yeah, let's go with okay, yes. Three people are found dead at the far edge of the river here. Right here. It is uncovered by people going to check on to see what the jackals are doing, and we find
Well,
we
bear in mind the
find
marauders up there are not jackals.
Oh, I thought the jackals are right. The marauders. We
Yeah.
find them near the marauders. Someone checking on the marauders, wondering, well, where did Jane, Joe, and Jonathan? They were supposed to go look on the marauders, and they didn't come back. We find them dead here, but they're not dead of stab wounds. They're dead of animal claws, large animal claws.
Oh.
In fact, we think they might actually be more than there might be an untamed dragon running around.
Oh.
Ooh.
Yes, that is the consensus. That is what we think. There's in addition to the dragons we're trying to tame, there's a feral dragon running around and killed 3 of our people.
Oh my.
Dun dun dun.
Okay.
Well, maybe it's not untamed, but it's under the control of someone else.
Maybe.
Ooh.
Dun dun dun.
Okay.
So now I get an action. Now I get an action for the week.
Mhm.
Let's see. Feels late to start up. No. I actually no. I a very simple project.
I. Yeah. Go ahead.
Inside the walls, a very simple project. Someone wants to try to start. We still have some we still have some vegetables left from the garden that was into the stores. Someone wants to see if we can extend our stores and extend the life of those vegetables by starting a pickling project. Very simple 2-week project to see if we can pickle vegetables effectively to have some fresh greens throughout the entire winter because our stores are so limited and what we have is spoiling fast. So that's the project.
All right. I just checked and I did another goof on the cards. I really am just all over the place with the cards this week.
Are there
I
5
apparently
cards
did
left?
not make sure that no, there's not 5 cards left. I did not make sure that the game-ending King of Spades was in there,
Oh,
and I just
whoops.
verified that it is not. However, there are 2 cards left, so I think what we do is we just go ahead and play out those 2 cards and assume that the next one after would be.
Right.
Which means that we lucked out a little bit. Like it could have come sooner, if not for my own goof. But okay, so
Next.
all right. So
Hmm.
yes,
you.
how many ticks for the pickling?
2 weeks. 2 weeks to pickle.
Okay, Ace of Spades.
Ace of Spades. Now is the time to conserve energy and resources. A project fails but gain in abundance. Now is the time for hurried labor and final efforts. A project finishes early but gain a scarcity. I think that I think that dragon taming winds up being finishing early,
All right.
but let's see what would be. But feeding them is a little more of an issue, and you find that the Dik population is not quite up to
Yeah.
speed on getting to feed it.
Well, it could even just be that it could be that, plus it could be that the presence of the dragons in the area is driving the
Oh,
herds
it's
away.
scaring them
Scaring
away.
some off. Yeah.
Yeah. Could be
Yeah.
both of those things.
Okay. Yeah.
So you need to update the Dik to represent no longer being abundant and in fact scarcity, which is not
poor
optimal
Dik-Dik.
because that was our
Our
that was
major
our-
food supply.
yeah.
Yeah.
Oh no.
And also
But-
it's winter. So
It's also winter. Yes.
Yeah.
But I am drawing a little saddle on the dragon. All right.
The Dragon Rider.
Yes. Okay, so that was the prompt. We're gonna finish repairing the dock,
Okay.
and that one guy feels great about that. And pickling goes down by 1, and then so it's your action now too.
Let's see. I think the discovery is that I think the discovery is that the jackals, that family of jackals, has fled,
Okay.
and the Orchid Chalcom token they have was actually left left at basically outside of the gate, outside of the city walls, basically in like as an off. Or actually, no, it was left outside of uh, the temple, the Death Temple,
Hmm.
as an offering.
It's kind of
Hmm.
ominous.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. All right,
Hmm.
so update the map to reflect that they've left. You could just draw a big X through them, I suppose. All right. So the last card then before the Frost Shepherds arrive, because we know about it. It's been foretold. A lot of people maybe don't believe it, but the Jack of Spades. And see, my little goof ups with the cards is definitely trying to explain it while I finalize the cards while I start the stream. Turns out that I shouldn't do it like that.
Yeah.
The Jack of Spades, an infected outsider arrives seeking amnesty. They have some much needed resources with them. Choose one. Welcome them into the community, remove a scarcity, but also introduce an infection into the community, or bar them from entry. What scarcity could they have addressed? How does its need become more dire this week? I think that they've got a bunch of preserved food supplies, like they've got a bunch of jerky.
And now we're really feeling it.
Yeah, well, I'm actually proposing though that we do welcome them in, but now
we have an infection.
now we have an infection.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna draw a little box of jerky.
And well, we already dealt with one like mini plague running through the community.
We never actually did the hospital or anything.
No, we know we'd actually
Yeah, we
built
didn't.
the hospital.
But
And I'm gonna reflect that there's now an infection by making our two militia guys have a little green in the face.
Oh
Oh no.
All right.
At least we have our Magnificent Seven.
no! And,
Yes.
and the pickling project finishes.
Oh yes, yes, yes.
So we have some pickled vegetables and some jerky to get us through the winter
Mhm.
because nothing's going to go wrong next week.
Oh,
Nothing
no.
at all.
Of course.
So I think how about this? I'm gonna make a discovery. Holy shit, Frost Shepherd's coming.
What are the Frost Shepherds?
I think they're the Frost Shepherds. Everyone knows what the Frost Shepherds are. I know. I'm teasing, of course. I'm just I mean, I'm leaning like we definitely started like, okay, we got the
White
magic metal,
Walkers?
we've got the mercenaries, we've got the walled city, yeah, exactly, right. So
White
that's kind of
Walkers,
that's
yeah.
what I was
Okay.
thinking.
Yeah.
I mean, we could decide for them to be something else, but that's clearly the implication. I think.
No,
in
we
calling them Frost
let's
Shepherds, yeah.
lean full in.
Yeah.
White Walkers
Okay.
come to, but we have dragons and we have orichalcum weapons.
And
Do
we've
we
got
survive?
skilled mercenaries,
And
but
some mercenaries.
we have also got an infection in the ranks.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, but yeah.
Do
So the question is, though, do we have a little kid who grew up in this city, who then trained in the Temple of Death, and now has a magic weapon?
I think it's a moral imperative that this happens.
I'm gonna say yes.
Well,
yes.
then we win, right? Like that's what it takes. That's what
That's what it takes.
That's what TV show told me.
Okay.
You look a little confused, Millie.
Yeah,
I'm
I'm
not-
confused too.
Okay, well, okay. So this is all Game of Thrones references. If you haven't, if you didn't watch all,
no, that part didn't confuse me. It was just the mentally type
Okay.
Okay.
connecting it all.
All
That's
right. Oh, well, it's just Arya
But, yeah.
who studied from the Temple of
Yeah.
Death and
Okay.
had the dragon glass dagger, and that's how she
Yep.
defeated the White Walkers. Spoilers for Game of Thrones, everybody.
Sorry.
And
Oh
if-
no.
Well, spoilers for the TV show. Who the heck knows what's going to happen with the book? Because, well,
Those books
Well-
will never come out. I guarantee it. I think
Yeah.
that's where we can leave out. leave today's session.
Yeah.
This has been the Quiet Year, and we hopefully will be back with more Apocalypse Keys next week. But we'll see about having some more adventure on so many levels.
So many levels.
So many levels.
so many levels.
Okay.